Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video, I'm going to break down the 1 minute Bullish Pivot Pro, how I use it, and how you can adjust some of the settings to really make this your own. Now, I have mine pretty simple. The blue trend zone here, red is going to be resistance trend zone, blue is going to be my positive bullish trend zone. We have the signals. We have the PW here, which is our pivot watch signal, letting you know when to watch for a possible pivot. We have the break of structure signals, which is this little green signal over here. Let me zoom in, make it easier to see. So you can see if I zoom in here, and I could expand this, make it a little bit bigger, but PW alerts, that's our pivot watch, time to start watching. The break of structure is a bullish signal, so that's an area of value. Then we have the pivot zones that will be plotted for us as well, letting us know an area of value. So if I'm getting in, my stop is going to be just below the pivot zone depending on which side I am on. So looking for bullish momentum above, bearish momentum below. So long trend here, so the trend signal. We then have the trend zone down below. These purple BVTs are letting me know that there's a bullish vertical trend and may need a breather or pullback, which we got that breather pullback here. Here's another break of structure, nice signal here, and continued. All of a sudden we gap up and green candle showing us into a BVT pullback. So you can see that the price action is very simply written out here for us, right? Very conditional. If this happens, then that. If that happens, then this, right? So if this gets above the pivot zone, we look at that as bullish momentum, and my stop would be just below. So if I get in at the pivot zone, my stop will be below. If the price is above the pivot zone, I look at it as bullish momentum. If the price is below the pivot zone, I look at it as bearish momentum. The trend zone, same thing. If the price is above the trend zone, it's bullish momentum. And if it's below, it's bearish momentum, right? Depending on which strategy I'm entering. Now, I could enter on the pullbacks into the trend zone. So after we break this trend zone here, here's a pullback into that trend zone. Here's another pullback into that trend zone. And here's another pullback into that trend zone, right? Could take those pullbacks using the trend zone as my risk mitigation, which would be the same idea. Above that trend zone is bullish, below that trend zone is bearish, right? Very simply put. And that's the whole idea behind this indicator, guys. It's a very complex indicator with many lines of code and a lot of conditional things to be checking. But that being said, it's not that hard to use, right? So I use this every day live in voice Monday through Friday. And this is available in our toolkit at BullishBobLive.com for TradingView traders. You can see that this pulls back here, red signal, that's going to give us a bearish signal, pivot zone, okay? So above the pivot zone, if I'm getting in a short trade, would be where my stop would be. If I'm in short, looking to take profit on this down into this area of value. And if I'm again, a trend zone trader, if I'm looking to take trades off the trend zone, here would be my entries as we're testing this trend zone, and of course not turning red, which is great. So we continue here and continued up. Now, that's going to be, simply put, the way I love to use this indicator. I use this to aid me in entry and exit throughout the day, give me areas of value when it's going to be bearish versus bullish, and really give me a trend sentiment and a strategy sentiment all built into one. Now, over to the right, we've got the support level. So if we get above that support level, that is great. That's what we want to see. But we want to be careful because we have these major red pullbacks as well. So we want to use that in conjunction. So this looks like it may make a nice move. We'll see what happens. But regardless, you can change the settings up as well. So as this is happening, I'll change the settings. So if you double click on the indicator, what I have mine is turned on to 5 and 5 for the pivot period and sensitivity. That's going to make it so we have less of those pivot watch alerts over here and less of those break of structure alerts. So that means if you look at this chart, the only pivot watch that you saw was right here with 5 and 5. And that means this is the only area that met those requirements for 5 and 5 on the settings for this to then give me a possible pivot. So in this area is the area of value, which is up to that, that indicator. So that's our area of value. So zooming back out here, I'll go back up to the top and look at what's happening now. And you can change the settings. So right now I have the settings, if I double click on this, 5 and 5, I have 0 for my volume requirement. If you go all the way down to the bottom here or near the bottom, you'll see the trend strategy. So if you scroll on down to the bottom in this, options page here, you can go down to the bottom and here the longer trend, you can switch this to a quick trend. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and hit OK. You can see that it's loading and changing. So you can see it's loading right here. It's going to change. Watch this. We'll watch it, and there we go. So now it tightened it right up, right? So being that I changed this to a quick trend instead of a long trend in the settings, this is going to allow it to be a little bit quicker signals. So now when looking at this chart, if we zoom back out, we can see that we now have more signals. So maybe I missed out on this first move here. Here's a pullback, trend is bearish. There's a signal right there. Okay, another pullback. All right, pullback right here. Now we're looking for a long signal. Here's a long signal followed by a short signal. This would be a false break. And all of a sudden, long signal, we're back above. We're continuing. Okay, great. And at this point, we had a really nice move all the way up until we broke right here. A short signal. There's your long signal. So you can easily see, again, where the area is. The trend is going to be long versus short. And then I use that in conjunction with the colored candles, which, again, is a setting that we have set in this as well. So if we go in here, we have the change candle color based on trend. If I turn that off, you'll see these colors will change in just a minute. And I like to leave it on myself. Some traders prefer to have that off. I like to have that on. It makes it really easy for me to see the price action. So you can see these are normal candles now behind this. If I turn this back on and hit OK, you can see it turns them to green and red. So I'm looking for that to be green candles as bullish momentum, red candles bearish momentum. I like to see the trend and the green candles in combination. So you can see here green candle, and we have that nice trend here, that blue trend. So if I zoom on out, go back over here, we can see that on the quicker trend here, we're getting some quick signals here. And sometimes this can get pretty choppy. And of course, this is after a huge move this is already made. This moved up from $1.12 to $10.75. So at some point, right, it needs to break. But that being said, who knows? It could keep going, right? I don't have a magic crystal ball to let you know of if this price is going up to $50 or if it's going to go back down to zero. I don't really know that. What I do know, though, is how we can trade it and use this indicator to help mitigate risk, which is most important whenever I'm trading. So we know that over here we are getting that signal that this is a bearish signal right here. Okay, that is a red flag. Maybe if I'm in the trade, I want to take profit or start securing. And then we have a short trend here too. So this is our signal here to exit the position. You can see it's very close to the top of the move. Of course, it's not perfect. It's not the top of the move. However, getting out before this drops this hard is very important to myself, as this is a 30% drop. So, it's one thing to obtain the profit. It's another thing to retain that profit and not give it back. So profit retention right here is very important. If you're a short seller, that gives you a nice opportunity as it's extended and pulling back there very sharply with the BVT at the top. So guys, really easy to change the colors around as well. If you want to do that, double click on this, go down to the bottom. If you want to change the trend zone, you can do that. You can go to the, let's see, right here, the trend zone. You can change it to a green. And so you can have maybe red and green if you prefer that. So you can see the different look here. Makes it a little bit easier if that's what you prefer. I like it the blue. It's a little easier on the eyes. But if you prefer to have the red green, you can have that as well. You can really customize this however you prefer. So go on down in here, and in the settings you can change this to say you want to have it as a light blue or whatever it may be, maybe a yellow. Whatever you want it to be, you can have it as that. So you can customize this however you prefer. So really cool, right, guys? Really simple indicator, really easy to use. It does look like a mashup when you do it like this. It looks like, oh man, there's a whole bunch of signals. But guys, zoom in on the chart and you can see it's not that bad, right? It's very almost self-explanatory. We do have a lot of notes on this as well. So pivot zones are being plotted here. We have a red signal that's bearish. It says it right there, bearish signal detected. Look for a bullish signal for a trend reversal. There's your bullish signal. Here's another bullish signal, trend reversal. Here's your long trade here, long trend signal. And then you have another bullish signal here. BVTs, there's your pullback into the pivot zone it needs to hold, and into this pivot zone here, and into our trend zone. And guess what? It just continued. So again, if you get in on this type of move, it's of course hard to catch the top and bottom, but if you're at the bottom of this over here and you caught yourself a nice trade and then you're just holding a lotto, you could hold your lotto and get yourself up 204%. If you're holding a lotto, 204% on anything is going to be great. It doesn't matter what it is, right? That's a huge gain on any type of size, even if it's small. So guys, this is how I use it. This is how I break it down. Really simple. I have it set 5 and 5, 0 for the volume. I've got different chart settings in here as well, but down towards the bottom for the trend itself, you can set it to a longer trend or a quicker trend. Depending on the time of day is how I have that set, so you can switch that back and forth, whatever you prefer. But sometimes I prefer a quicker trend, and sometimes I prefer a longer trend. It really depends. You can see the longer trend's a little bit less noisy. You have the signal here, nice little move, but you can also see that it's giving you a little bit more slippage. So if you're looking to get in and out real fast and get closer to the top of the move each time, I would be in the quicker trend. And if you're looking for a longer hold type of move, then the longer trend can sometimes provide that as well with a nice area of value. So just a quick breakdown there, guys. MLGO price action with the 1 minute Bullish Pivot Pro. Hope that helped. If it did, give it a thumbs up. And if you want more videos like this, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord yet, guys, get in the Discord. Join at BullishBobLive.com. You can get access to this indicator and access to our Discord and our scanners as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.